On this episode of With Intention, we're going to talk about what it's like to be a true leader. Welcome to With Intention. This is John Giganti. Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I want to share with you a couple stories today, and we're going to talk about leadership. I'm fortunate to lead a sales team now in the last 9 months or so, and it got me thinking back a few years as along the way in the journey, and a couple stories I wanted to share. So, I got a phone call probably 5 or 6 years ago now from a client that said, hey, essentially we want to leave the partnership with your company. And man, that's a tough call to get. This is a pretty long-term partner of ours, someone I was pretty close to, and we just weren't adding the value they wanted to. We weren't meeting the mark for them, and it was a tough time. It's embarrassing. I think initially I probably was blaming other people, kind of had a victim mindset with it, and struggled with it. Around the same time, my wife called me out and essentially said, hey, you're not leading our family the way I think you should. And I would say even more than the business piece, the personal piece really hit home, and super disheartening to hear that. Again, embarrassing, and you know, I'm sure I battled and we debated about it, and kind of that victim mindset. Again, you know, you gotta dig deep when you hear that stuff, and I think really I was a selfish leader, a selfish mindset. So today I'm going to share with you some lessons learned and how you can incorporate that into your life from a leadership standpoint. So what does it mean to be a good leader? Let's talk about that now. I think really what it comes down to is, are you a servant leader or are you a selfish leader? And they're distinctly different from each other. You hear the terms servant leadership a lot, but I think it's so appropriate and so true. How do you serve others? If you're thinking of others first before yourself, that's a definition of servant leadership. If you're selfish and you're thinking about yourself first, that's where you get in trouble. So I think that's the key thing. I've got there's a great picture of in one of my clients' offices, and it's a guy that is basically pointing at his team from above, and I think it says boss on it, and it says, he's basically forcing his team to do work. That's a selfish leader. And then on the flip side below it, you have a true leader, a servant leader that's literally dragging his team with them. That's the way you need to lead. When I think about it and what that means, how do you do that? How do you become a servant leader? It's all well and good to say it, but how do you do it? And I think it's a couple things. One, it's engagement. So any type of team you have, again, work team, family, whatever it is, whatever environment you're in, how do you engage? So when you're talking to someone, are you listening? Are you trustworthy? Are you really actively participating in whatever it is? Are you there for them? I also think about what energy you bring to the table. What type of attitude? Are you positive? Are you encouraging? And I think that's really, the third thing there is, are you a builder? Can you build, or are you building into your team? So that's a consistent process. It doesn't mean you don't have difficult conversations, but it does mean you're constantly trying to push them and just build into them. Encouragement, fill in their bucket when it's not filled up. Actually sometimes calling them out in really a truth and love type of way that you're really trying to help them get better. That's all part of it too. It's that consistent building up. So when I think about servant leadership versus selfish leadership, and where I was in kind of that selfish leadership victim mindset state, I'm happy to tell you that client that made that call is we were able to save that business through a consistent process of adding value and contributing and serving them, and they're a thriving partner to this day now, which is amazing. And also with my wife Michelle, if she was in the room and she was talking to you here, she would talk about our relationship. And by the grace of God, we do have a thriving relationship now. It doesn't come without challenges, but I think that taking ownership for me and becoming more of a servant leader at home has been really transformational. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Our goal here is to add value to you on a consistent basis, and I'm excited to tell you that we're going to be shooting more often. Josh Moore, who's amazing behind the camera, we're going to be shooting more consistently, and we're also going to be bringing some interviews to the table. So with other thought leaders to talk about living and leading a life of intention. We're going to bring that to you here soon. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.